What you're about to experience are my opinions and truths. I'm suggesting they're possibilities for you to consider, in which you can then come up with your own logical conclusions. Oh yeah, baby. A little bit of exorcism coming your way. Exorcism Decoded. Welcome out, all of you great decoders around the world. Try to get this as eerie and to get you in the zone as possible. My name is Logan, your tour guide. We're going to have some fun with this one. Exorcism Decoded, and I promise you this is not going to be what you probably think it is. Because when we think exorcism, the vision here, which I thought AI did a great job creating this graphic, this is what we normally think. Religion, the church, the cross, someone lying in bed or on the floor and they're convulsing and da-da-da-da-da, and they have to suck out some demon out of them. That's what we normally would think about. That's what this picture is trying to get across to all of us. It's very fascinating. But what I'm going to be talking about here today is you removing yourself from this reality, which would be a full-fledged exorcism where you don't need religion, you don't need any rituals, none of that stuff. That's too complex. It's much easier than that. And that's what I'm going to show you here today. And I wanted to just give you a few things to kind of think about, like, are you being a captive prisoner here? There is some philosophy behind we live inside of a prison and we're prisoners and we're serving out a sentence. There is this aspect of the soul trap theory, and these are things to take into consideration. And, there is like, don't go to the light. Okay, well, how the hell would you even know that? How would anybody know that and tell you that? They can't, because they would have to been able to have done it and then prove that they've done it and they've come back around again. And now they're telling you, don't go to the light. So then there's also the dark, right? So if you look at it from both perspectives, you're trying to escape the darkness, which is the evil, the demons, the darkness. But then you have the opposite where you're the light. And maybe you just want to go down and play the game. You want to go down that black hole. And it looks like, what's down there? And you want to go play the game. And so these are things to consider for this presentation, which, again, we start here. It's like, this is the beginning stages of this, but I'm suggesting, and I will suggest, that if you're somebody who doesn't want to play anymore, if you're somebody who, wants to leave this reality, right? And again, I'm going to say, and people ask me, well, if it's scripted and predestined, then what does it matter? It's part of your script. Whatever's happening to you is part of your script, and there is not a cookie cutter script. I don't believe so. That's my truth. But these graphics give you kind of an idea of some possibilities to think about and to consider. And some of you will not accept these, or you'll say I'm crazy and all that stuff. That's, and some of you will see the light here, no pun intended. Some of you will take a look at this and consider what I'm saying. And is it really just about escaping the duality that we're in? Because duality is a thing, right? I mean, you have good and evil down here in this reality. This reality, there's no question. There isn't any, there's not no, it doesn't exist. No, it's predator prey down here. It's predator prey. You're living in duality. And is there a way to escape it and have a full-fledged exorcism where you relieve yourself from this reality? That's what I want to talk about here today. I'm not talking about going to the church. By the way, this is my truth now. Anything inside this construct we call life is part of it. Angels, demons, all the deity names, they're all part of this construct. It can't be anything other than that. Anything inside this reality is part of this reality. And if you don't want to be part of this reality anymore, there has to be some kind of nihilism in your life where you need to leave behind all of that and say, I don't want to be part of that construct anymore. Anything that is part of the matrix is inside this construct, not outside of it. It's inside of it. And what I'm going to suggest is if you want to have an exorcism where you remove yourself from the construct, that means that you need to leave behind all of the ideas, the deity names, etc., behind you. All of these are man-made constructs through the mind of the supernatural, the source, which the source created, and it keeps itself contained inside the self-contained system. That's what the research suggests. So that's what we're going to start off with here. And I'm going to get into the methodologies now on what I'm going to be using to present this to all of you. These are some of the layers that we're going to be synchronizing together to show you how this platform works through Decode Your Reality, what I've been shown to show you, and what I've been so fond of using. And then this is in no particular order, but we're going to be looking at alchemy, the periodic table, science. These are bridges and clues. They don't necessarily have to mean biology and physics and everything else that you can attach to it. They're bridges. These numbers are bridges, and they connect to things like tarot cards. For instance, the Four of Pentacles is the 68th card in the tarot, or can be. This is card 67 or 68. And then we have the playing cards, 52 cards in a deck. The Queen of Clubs is one of them. We have mathematics. We have pi and phi. We're going to be using those layers because they're part of the source code. Numbers. We're going to be talking about the science of numbers, numerology. I'm going to be showing some Greek in here. This is Diabolo, where you're going to get Diabolos, which is devil. And then we're going to be talking about some astrology. I'm going to break down some astrology into all of this, and then I will be including some mainstream, and I'm going to be showing who this guy is. Why mainstream? Because it's part of this construct. So all these layers here are part of this construct, which is why we can use them to decode this reality and understand the machinations of how this reality works. We can attach this to anything inside this construct, and it will start to show itself. And this is the methodology that we're going to be using here. So here are the topics of conversation for this presentation. Number 1, we have vomit. Number 2, September 7th, 9/7. Number 3, September 8th, 9/8. Number 4, Luke. And the 5th and final topic, the word sing. Sing me a song. Okay, we're going to start to sing. So let's get into the first topic for this presentation. Folks, another one's going to blow your mind. Put on a pair of headphones, block out the outside world. Here we go, vomit. Okay, so we're going to start with the science of numbers and numerology. And I was decoding the Amityville Horror, which I still have a decode to come out with on that topic. This is how I got started with this exorcism. And when I found the word exorcism was the 30, then I was gangbusters decoding it, and here we are, finally getting around to this. But you can see that the very basic fundamental of exorcism is tied to the demiurge. And the demiurge is essentially the Ponzi scheme. That's all I'm going to say. The demiurge, which in the Gnostic traditions is God that runs this reality, it owns every single thing. The angels, the demons, the systems, all of it. It owns it all. So it's a Ponzi scheme. So if you want to have an exorcism from this reality, that means you need to annihilate the programming inside of you. That includes all the, you don't need to do any of these silly rituals. This to me is all silly. It's too complex. It's much more simpler than that. And you can see that when you go to the tarot to get the picture, you can see that the Eight of Wands, which is the Eight of Clubs, which is tied to the Great Pyramid of Giza, is the 30th card in the deck. And this is exorcism. This means fast movement. Think about it. To remove yourself, spirit leaving the body. That's what this thing means right here. It's so funny when you look at it, really. And this would be you saying, I'm out of here. I'm out of this construct called life, called the Matrix. I'm done. Adios. Sayonara, right? So let's take a look at this through the cards of illumination and see what it looks like. I've decoded this several times now. And this is the Revelation 3 verses 16 scripture. Again, the Bible is part of this construct. So is the devil, because the devil needs the church and the church needs the devil for this construct to work. So, of course, this is the scripture. And this one I feel is probably the most pertinent out of the entire book, Revelation 3 verses 16, where it says, if you don't want to play, basically this is saying, if you don't want to play anymore, you got to be lukewarm. You got to be lukewarm. You know, like if you take a bath, what's the most comfortable? What's the most comfortable weather? 74, 75 degrees Fahrenheit? Not too hot, not too cold, lukewarm. It's the most comfortable, the most balanced. It's homeostasis. But you're going to be spit out of my mouth. This is where the origination of mouth comes from. Greek, stomatos, which means the possessiveness of the mouth. My stomatos, 29. So we go to solar spread 29, which is just one digit off from the 30. And we look to see where that 29 is, and it sits going from right to left through the bingo chart, as I've been showing. There's two ways to look at this. It is the Four of Diamonds. And the Four of Diamonds is the 30th card in the deck, which ties to Demiurge, which ties to exorcism. And then if I go over here to this side, the mirror side, because this is a double-sided chart, this would be space number 29, and what sits there is the Eight of Clubs. And what is the Eight of Clubs? The Eight of Wands, which is card 30. Fast movement, exorcism, spirit leaving the body. You end up alleviating yourself from the game. I tried to have this drawn up to where it would look like you're in a prison. The four is your four blood types, the four corners of the earth, the four seasons. Okay, I will spit you out of Jack in the Box. I did a decode on Jack in the Box, the restaurant in the United States, founded on February 21st, which is the Four of Diamonds card. The comedy in this reality, because whatever created this reality is the Joker, the stand-up comedian, the good, the bad, and the ugly. But some of you don't want to be here anymore. And if there is a way to get out, I say if, I'm postulating the idea, it would be to live, in my opinion, through nihilism. You got to get rid of all the constructs and beliefs because they are part of, they're all inside, self-contained in the box, in the system. So you want to get out, and you got to be lukewarm for that. Hot or cold is yin yang. Okay? That's why the yin yang's on the forehead there. That's called polarization. You don't want to be polarized. You want to sit in the middle. Okay? So that leads me into the Latin Vulgate. Why am I going to be showing the Latin Vulgate? This is the official Bible of the Vatican. It is not the King James Bible. That's the most popular. But it is the 80-book Latin Vulgate. Remember that 80 is tied to the moon, selenium. It's tied to the tree of life. There's so many layers to look at this when we start to connect. So I'm going to go to Revelation 3 verses 16. And I'm going to look at it from the Latinized aspect of it, the most popular language and book for the official Vatican City. The most popular, the most powerful religion on the world stage. And remember, the devil and Lucifer and all these energies have to be inside the church because the church needs that energy in order to exist. So it's a Ponzi scheme. So it will be part of being inside this box. All of it. And this is what it says. The lukewarm. Because you're not lukewarm and you're not hot or cold, you're not yin or yang, I will begin to vomit thee out of my mouth. I will begin to spit you out of my mouth. Okay? From this book. All right? There's a reason why this is the most powerful church in existence. So, let's do the numerology of this. We're going to start to get really heavy now. Okay? And we're going to do the numerology of it in Latin. And you can see that we get a 251. Okay? There's some subtleties in there. 15 words. 15 is the devil card. That's going to sit in the house of Taurus. Taurus will be the escape hatch through astrology. I'll be showing that. 64 letters, 64 possible codons in our DNA. There's a lot of clues in here. But the 251 is where we're going to start. Okay? The 2, the 5, and the 1. The 2, the 5, and the 1. So because the Catholic Church put out the Gregorian calendar, I'm going to go right to the Gregorian calendar and I'm going to match up day number 251 to see what kind of clue I can get. And here is what day number 251 looks like. Now, there are 2 days on the calendar that are 251 because you got to take into consideration the common year and the leap year. So September 7th is going to be the 251st day in leap years, and September 8th is going to be the 251st common year day for the common year. So we have to look at both. Remember, these numbers encroach. Starting to look at numbers like 2 becomes 3, 3 becomes 4. They merge and they mesh into each other. They encroach upon each other, so to speak. So I'm going to look at both of these days, and now I'm going to introduce the cards of illumination to get a picture, to get some numbers to start with for this 251 tied on the Gregorian calendar. So here are the 2 cards that are associated with the 251st day of the year, both common and leap. It's the 3 of diamonds and the 4 of diamonds. Now, we already saw the 4 of diamonds. We already saw it right here. 4 of diamonds with tied to the spit you out of my stomatos. It's already there. Okay, so now you can start to see how this is already embedded into Revelation 3 verses 16 from the numerology and combining that into the Gregorian calendar. Like wow moments, right? So when we add these 2 cards up, it's the 29th and the 30th card in the deck. We get the number 59. And how big this 59 is because it's tied to Catholicism. How about that? Because the rosary is made up of 59 beads. Definitely on purpose. 59 is the contract with God. 59 is the game of life. And remember, the church needs the devil in order for it to exist. You need the yin with the yang and the yang with the yin to make this whole thing work. And the prison is part of that construct. Okay? It's part of that construct. The 59th element, praseodymium, there's the permutation of pi, or the 3.141. Pi in the Greek is 17. 17 is the 7th prime number, and there's so much to do. And by the way, if you've been paying attention in astrology, the 17th nakshatra is located in the house of Scorpio, which is the entrance to get into this game of life. That's what the research shows. The world card sitting in the house of Scorpio, and the 17th nakshatra sits right smack dab in the middle of Scorpio, the 8th zodiac sign, 8 being the Taurus field. Okay, so there's that to start this thing off. And as you know, because you've been paying attention, if you're a member of Patreon, big shout out to all you Patreon members. Thank you so very much for your support. I greatly appreciate each and every one of you. You would have seen this right here, where you can spell out some words you can spell out on the periodic table. Prison is one of them. It's a big word. Are we all in prison? Are we all serving a sentence down here? Maybe. But you can see how the 59 starts that prison off. And what is this? The icon for praseodymium. It's the Gemini, the prison bars. And you can see that it's the Roman numeral 2, which means yin-yang and duality. Okay? You're in duality. You're in the prison of duality. That's what this is suggesting. It can be a fun one, though. All from this, all from that. Okay? And we started all with the 251 tied to the Gregorian calendar. See how amazing the synchronicities are on this? It's just really, really crazy. So let's get into the next topic now and talk about September 7th, 9/7 or 7/9, which is gold. Okay, there is the gold aspect there. If you flip it around and you look at it from a lot of the people in the European countries, it's 7-9 or 7.9. So that's gold. Okay. So let's start to take a look at this 251st day in leap years, which matches up with the 251 for the numerology of Revelation 3 verses 16 in the Latin Vulgate Bible. We're going to start off with this 3 of diamonds, the 29th card in the deck. And remember what that 29's tied to. Stomatos, the mouth. I will spit you out of my stomatos. Right here. Okay. And you get into the tarot to get the picture. You see, when you're in this game called life, in this dream, in this matrix, you're an apprentice. You're somebody who is playing out through this energy. You are designed to create through your desires, and you become an apprentice. Well, when you are kind of through that, some of you don't want to be an apprentice anymore. Well, then you start to look at other layers and you start to consider, well, maybe there is some merit to this. And we're going to talk a little bit more about that. So 97, which is September 7th, is a prime number. If I go to 79, it's the 22nd prime number, which becomes titanium and the Fool. Okay. But September 7th can be the 97, and it is a prime. It's the 25th prime number. And now I'm going to connect numerology to that. And just like that, we have this word where the devil came from. It's called diabolo. It's diabolos. But when you go do the research on it, diabolo is where you're going to get diabolos from. And this is a diabolo. It's a toy. It's a yo-yo. It's a hourglass. This is called a diabolo. This is the hourglass that we're all in. The prison, the number 8. Okay. That's what this suggests. And 25 is going to reduce down to the 7, and that's why you have 7 chakras. 7 colors of the rainbow, light slowed down into physical matter. So now we're going to take a look at, and you can see how this image, this graphic, which was an amazing one, really sets the tone for this presentation. You see, what the research shows is that we're all inside the sands of time. Okay, this is the number 8, the infinity symbol, and it's the diabolo. This is, again, how crazy synchronized this is. This is a toy. This is where diabolos comes from, and then you get the hourglass, the sands of time. You only get so much time. And then when this thing's empty, it gets flipped over and it starts over again, which starts the cycles of life again. Well, again, some of you don't want to be in this reality. And is there a way to escape this reality, this matrix? Well, it's called exorcism for a reason. So diabolo being the 25, tied to the devil. The devil is time. And everything inside this construct that we all live in is part of it. There cannot be any exception to that. There can't be any exception to that. So we're going to go to the spirit spread, which is the boilerplate, never moved chart. It doesn't move. This is the standard chart that is a referencing point for all the other cards of illumination. The spirit spread. And you can locate your card in here, your spirit card in here, but I'm going to reference the numbering system once again. And you're going to notice that the number 25, whether the 1 sits here and goes to the 7 or the 7 to the 1 there, the mirror, because there's the mirror chart, right? I told you the 29 sits here and can sit here. But the 25, all these numbers in the center row never change. If you flip these numbers, it doesn't matter. So the number 25, space 25, is the Queen of Clubs. So it's the Queen, okay? So now you have a referencing point to this hourglass, the diabolo, the devil, being tied to the Queen. And males cannot create offspring. Only you females can. So that's why the female has more power than the male. But of course, you need the male in order to actually procreate, but nonetheless, I mean, you still have the power. And that's why the bee, you look at a beehive, it's the queen. There's no king bee in there. It's queen bee. The queen. This is more feminine than this is androgynous, but this is more feminine than anything else. But it's the queen of clubs. And the queen of clubs in the tarot is the queen of wands. And she is card 35 using the Fool twice, the most popular spread. And since it's the 35th card in the deck, we now have a nice connection with the word simulation. So now you can see that this construct, the Diabolo, which is the devil, is the simulation. You're in it. The simulation is the matrix, which is life. And we're all in it. And it needs you to desire things to create. That's what the devil is. It's just desire. What do you desire in life? That's what it creates through. The simulation, and it's the queen, because the females can give birth to things. Males cannot do that. We need the females. So the simulation is tied to the Queen of Wands, and then it's tied to the letter Q. So I'm going somewhere with this, so just stick with this here, ladies and gentlemen, is that the 25th space on the mirrored chart, going from left to right, the 25 is the Queen of Clubs, and she's attached to the 43. Because you see, this is the value of the capital letters. This is otherwise known as the Francis Bacon. The capital letters are going to give you the A through Z, 27 through 52. You have the lowercase, 1 through 26, the uppercase, 27 through 52. And all of these letters on the cards are capital letters. So I'm going to look to the capital letter cipher, and the Q is the 43rd letter in the lineage of the alphabet. And now we go to space number 43, and you can see that it is the 7 of hearts. So now the queen moves to the 7 of cups, which is the 43rd card in the deck. And now this card is choices. Choices. The 7 of cups, I like to say it's God's remote control. It's what it wants to do with you. Like, what am I going to create today? What am I going to create today? So the queen, in order to run the simulation through the sands of time, it moves through that 7 of cups, that 7 of hearts. It is card 43. This is card 7. 7 chakras, 7 colors of the rainbow. It's now I want to create through desire. Okay? That's how this whole thing looks. And then the final big thing here was this power button that I discovered. Was that this Q is the power button. That's all it is. This is on a lot of the electronics you have. You press the button, the power gets released. This is a complete circle, and then this is the release of that power. The release of the power is through the sands. And the release of the power through the sands is created through desire. It's created through desire, ladies and gentlemen. And the Q is right there. The Q movement. You know what that is, right? It's power. And when you focus on the Q movement, you give it more power. That's the name of the game in this reality. Who's got the biggest marketing? Who's got the biggest influence? That's what moves and shapes the consciousness of this reality. Okay? That moves this is focus and desire. And it will be a solo journey for you on what you're going to create in this reality. So now we go to the space number 7 down here, because down here is the 43rd card in the cards of illumination. It's the 4 of spades, which is a mighty big card. Because again, we got the Q as the 43rd letter, and now I want to go to the 43rd card sitting in space number 7. It's the 4 of swords, and the 4 of swords, to get the picture, becomes the 4 of spades becomes the 4 of swords, and this is the dreamer. And it's card 54, phosphorus, as in Lucifer, is 54. That's why it's called Lucifer. It's why it's called lucid. I'm having a lucid dream, a Lucifer dream. You're inside of a dream. You're inside of a movie. You're being watched. You don't want to play anymore? You got to have the exorcism. I'm going to get more to that as we move through this presentation. So the dreamer. So we have the queen running the simulation, delivering its power through desire, and it's all part of the dream, the dreamer, the Four of Swords here. Okay, you see how all this works? And you have 7, 7, 7. You have jackpot right here. That's how deep this code goes. But you got to know how the cards work. I'm just giving you the bird's eye view example, the simplicity of this. You got to know how the numbers work. You got to know, like I have all these memorized, but once you have them memorized, it becomes so much easier. And there'll be the mirror of that as well. Okay. And the 54th card in the deck, the Four of Swords, the dreamer, is linked to this big word in Greek numerology called Zeus. So now we get into astronomy and astrology. And we get the biggest planet in the canopy called Zeus, the king of the Olympians. Olympian is 30. Demiurge is 30. Okay, just so we can be really, really crystal clear here. Olympian is 30. Demiurge is 30. Jehovah is 30. So you're beginning to start to see, but they're all tied together. And it's all inside this construct. Everything is part of this construct, without exception. Can't be any other way. So that was the 9-7. Let's get into the 9-8. Let's get into September 8th, otherwise known as 8-9. 89 is the 24th prime number. It's also the 11th Fibonacci number, if you look at it that way. But the 9.8, September 8th now. So now we're going to shift into the common year of day 251, remembering that the Revelation 3 verses 16 through the Latin Vulgate, the official Bible of the Vatican, is 251. I will spit you out of my mouth. I will vomit you out of my mouth. So now we have September 8th as the referencing point, and now we get into that Four of Diamonds card, which we've all obviously already shown over and over, but here's an extension of that to get the picture, right? So this is card number 30. It is the card that's tied to September 8th. And so we go into numerology and you can see that role play is 30. Olympian, Jehovah, Demiurge. I will spit you out of my role play. Okay? I will spit you out of role play. And you can look at the tarot card, and that's why I had it in the beginning. It's the Four of Pentacles. Card number 67/68. Okay, this would be God, and this would be you, one of those pentacles. It doesn't want to let you go. Okay, it wants to keep you here. Because the game needs players. This game needs players. And then we bring it into alchemy and the periodic table, and we get this element zinc. Now, zinc is a very important element for the biology of the body. It's essential that you get zinc. This is why chemistry and the periodic table is so valuable in decoding from. And you notice it's a Z twice, the abbreviation, because the N is a rotated Z. Okay, so you get the 26 and the 14, and the 14 is the word God, and 26 is source. All right, so now you can start to see how it's all tied together. And why zinc has this 68, because the average is 65, but it has 5 stable isotopes, and I'm going to get into that. But why I have the 68 here? Well, consider that when you take the protons of zinc and you add up the protons and neutrons, this is the protons and neutrons, and you take the electrons, which are, there's 30 electrons to match the 30 protons, you get 30 plus 68 is 98. 98. And this topic is September 8th, which is Day number 251 in the common year. So day number 251 in the common year to match I will spit you out of my mouth from the Latin Vulgate Bible, the 251 for the numerology of it, tied to the September 8th card, which is the 4 of diamonds, the 30th card in the deck, is tied to the 30th element on the periodic table because 30 and 68 is 98, ladies and gentlemen. How about that? You see how amazing this code is? It's all tied together. You just got to look at the methodologies. And now you can also link this element on the periodic table called Californium. And you can see the hilarious code. 251. 251. I will vomit you out of my mouth. See it? 98. 30 plus 68 is 98. See, I will spit you out of role play. That's what this is suggesting, folks. That's what this is suggesting. So, I'm also going to look at, because we got the 98 now, okay? September 8th is the 9-8. So I go to Californium, I can go to zinc. 30 plus 68 is 98. But I go to the 98 protons of Californium, it's the 251, which is tied to the 251 numerology of I will vomit you out of my mouth from the Latin Vulgate Bible. And the 98 is also the isotope of, one of the isotopes of technetium, the 43rd element on the periodic table. Technetium. So now I'm going to synchronize technetium. September 8th, there's the 98. Well, the 43 is tied to the 43rd card in the deck, the 4 of spades, which is the dreamer, which I just showed earlier. Right back here. Right here. The dreamer. Right here. See how all this stuff starts to synchronize? It's amazing. And the 4 of spades is tied to the 4 of diamonds. It's part of the 4 suits. The 4 family. And you go back to the 4 of swords, which is card 54, and it's the dreamer. So what this is suggesting is that you're inside of a dream. You're having a dream, you're daydreaming, you're lucid dreaming. And I mean, I'm not the first one, obviously, to say that. Many of you, I mean, you're having it. This is an experience that's not real. How often have I said that? Many of the this is not real. It feels real, it looks real, it smells real, but it ain't real, man. Like Ronnie James Dio on Black Sabbath says, the world is full of kings and queens who will blind your eyes and steal your dreams. It's heaven and hell. Black Sabbath. The world is full of kings and queens who will blind your eyes and steal your dreams. Now, is there something to that? Well, again, if you pay attention to the mainstream, you're feeding that aspect. Whatever you're paying attention to, you're feeding it and it will feed you back. The dreamer, the 4 of swords, asleep. Okay, that's what this says here. And then now we have a connecting point to astronomy, astrology, and the mighty Zeus once again, because Zeus is tied to the dreamer. Because the dreamer, the 4 of spades, the 4 of swords, is card 54, and the 54th element on the periodic table is called Xenon. Xenon means the stranger. The stranger. And there's Zeus's lightning bolt. That's why Jupiter is known as having the lightning bolts. It's right there. This means stranger. Remember, there's someone in my head, but it's not me. 131. Brain damage. Someone in your head, the stranger. Is Zeus just asleep having a dream? Things to take into consideration, ladies and gentlemen. So, now we get into the astrology part. This is where it becomes really fun. Here is the full numerology of all 12 zodiac signs. 251. Remember what that 251 was? I will vomit you out of my mouth because you're lukewarm. You're not hot or cold. So now you can see that the great beasts, which I've done a decode, I have part 2 coming out, It's hard. This is a harvester of energy. As Metallica said, harvester of sorrow. 251 is the 54th prime number. And when you say 251, it's 54. So you can see this is a big freaking deal, a big deal, a really big deal. Because we get it here, we get it here, we get it here, and we get it here. This is a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, a big deal. The harvester of sorrow, the great beast. And of course, Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius, the 9th zodiac sign. 9 is Diabolos, the archer, the dreamer, okay, the sleeper. This suggests that you're inside. That's why wake up. Remember, what news station was it in They Live that was broadcasting the hypnotic trance? News station 54. Obey, consume, don't ask questions. Remember, Zeus is 54, folks. 54 is Zeus. In its original Greek language, the dreamer. And it's the voice in the head, 131. There's someone in my head, but it's not me. 131 is the 32nd prime number. 32 is tied to the word game master. 32 is tied to game master. So you go here, folks, just so you can be really crystal clear. 131 is the 32nd prime number, and 32 is game master. Accident? Coincidence? Now you have the eyes to see. 54 reduces down to the number 9. Sagittarius is the 9th zodiac sign. Jupiter is the ruler of Sagittarius. 9. Okay? So you can start to see how all this stuff starts to play out. And because of the dreamer, the 4 of swords, it moves into the next card, which is walking away. Card 55. This even can be card 54. This could be card 53. So they encroach. But the lineage of this is suggesting, this is exorcism, walking away. I don't want to play anymore, man. Well, maybe we're going to get that burden alleviated. Maybe your mind will become your own at some point. Maybe you'll be able to create without anything, wearing on you. And it might just require that you live through a layer. This is nihilism. This is any construct in this reality. All these deity names and ideas and rituals. You got to walk away from that stuff. You don't need it. Go back to simplicity. Simplicity is what's going to set you free. Severing ties with complexity. That's ascension. Okay? That is ascension. Simplicity. So, looking at Sagittarius, the numerology, the only zodiac sign out of all 12 that has the number 29 attached to it. Sagittarius, the 9th zodiac sign. Remember, through the Vedic system, December 25th is Sagittarius. Christmas time. So 29 is Sagittarius, and that is tied to the Gnostic demiurge called Yaldabaoth, which is Godzilla. Godzilla shooting the blue flame out of its mouth, right? The blue flame out of its mouth. And then you have the Great Pyramid of Giza sitting at 29 degrees north. Is this just mere coincidence that the 29 degrees north matches the only zodiac sign out of all 12 that has the number 29? The Archer, Sagittarius, Godzilla, Yaldabaoth, Stamatos. I will spit you out of my Stamatos is 29, folks. I will spit you out of the demiurge. I'll spit you out. Remember, Sag sits right across from Gemini, which is the prison bars. The 9 and the 3. 3 is Gemini. 3 is demiurge. 3 is Lucifer. 3 is Allah. 3 is Jehovah. They're all part of the 3, the club of the 3. across from the 9. 9 is the repeater, 3 is the construct. I'm going to show you that. So here's kind of it all connected. Is that we have the September 8th tied to technetium right here. And then we get the Dreamer attached to the 43rd card and the cards of illumination, the 4 spades, and there's that 43. 43 being the 14th prime number. Okay? 43 is the 14th prime number. 14 is tied to the word God, time, and Satan. All right? All tied together with this. So now, when you go to this here, right? 43, those of you that are new, 43 is the 14th prime number. So now we have the 14 is the big one, which is time. You don't want to be in time anymore? It's God. And it's the devil. They're all one and the same. It can't be any other way, folks. It just can't be any other way here with this. And this means artificial. So that means that man created it, but man's mind's not its own. So it's really a Ponzi scheme. Through the Gregorian calendar. This is all from the Gregorian calendar and the Latin Vulgate Bible. So now you can see the tarot and the cards and alchemy and numerology, all one and the same in this construct. It's a beautiful construct. When you take the 43 and 98, this is September 8th, this is the common year. 43 and 98, 141. So again, September 8th tied to the 251, the 251 tied to the 12 zodiac signs, tied to the numerology of the Latin Vulgate, Revelation 3 verses 16, I will vomit you out of my mouth because you're not hot or cold anymore, because you don't want to play anymore. You don't want to be role played anymore. You don't want to be part of the dream anymore. You want to walk away. You want to have an exorcism from Yaldabaoth, from the Gnostic Demiurge, from Godzilla, okay, from the prison of Gemini and Sagittarius. Well, you're going to get knocked out of, what's that 141? The prison. You see? The prison of Gemini. Gemini, this is 2. This is the Roman numeral 2. 2 meaning duality, meaning yin yang. Okay? You're inside of a dream, folks. This is what this is. You're in a dream. You're in a movie. The movie's a dream. It's a reality show. And this is what it looks like. And this methodology, again, it works because the hundreds of videos now showing it. So let's get into the second to last topic now, called Luke. Use the Force, Luke. I am your father, Luke, which was Darth Vader. I am your father. Father being Diabolos. I am your father, Luke. I am your father, 25, which is what? The black sun. The seed, which is what? The devil. I am your father. That's why Darth Vader was all black, the black sun. Luke. I am your father, Luke, the next topic here. So we bring theology into it, part of this construct, a piece of it. Clue galore here. And I was referencing this guy's website here. He was talking about the 4 Gospels, and they're just the 4 fixed signs of astrology, the ox, lion, eagle, man. Well, who's the ox? Who's Taurus the bull? Luke. Luke, which is lukewarm. You want to be lukewarm, which is the center point. That's home. Not here, but the center point, knowing that this and this need each other and this is the entire Diabolo construct. Okay, so what this is suggesting is Luke is the bull, which is the ox. There's the devil horns. And it's astrology now. And through my astro tarot, I showed how the tarot cards sit around the zodiac wheel. And we have the entrance point to get into this reality through the world card, through Scorpio. And of course, Mars is the co-ruler. Mars is the desire. Pluto is the underworld, the riches of the underworld. And Pluto, Scorpio, known as the zodiac sign of sex, of course. So you enter Babylon. Babylon is 21. And love is 21. You enter through love, like the desire of wanting to come in, but the exit point is the opposite end. And it's the devil card. See, the 15 is going to sit in the house of Taurus, which is Venus. So you exit through the devil. And Luke is the ox. This guy is the divine ox, the bull, right here. So you want to exit through Luke. You want to be lukewarm. See how all this stuff fits together? Lukewarm. You want to be neutral to get out. And this is why I had the whole thing on, let's talk about, the love trap. Venus is love. It's very complicated though. But the devil runs, lust and love and desire and all that stuff. So is there a way to exit out of this reality through having a full body exorcism where you get rid of and shed the physical body? That's the idea here. Well, this is saying that you got to be lukewarm. Luke, through the bull. And Aldebaran would be the star, the main star of Taurus. Okay, so now you have the enter and the exit. And it's Luke. Luke is the ox. Okay. The high priestess being here, which is the oracle. This is like the full knowledge now. This is the second sign. Remember the 2, even though the Gemini it's got the Roman numeral 2. This is 2, the second zodiac sign. So there are many clues to this. Many, many clues to this. And you can see that the word Luke is the same as the word dream. So you want to be lukewarm to exit the dream. The word hell equals 16. You want to be lukewarm to exit hell. Or Halel. That's how you spell Lucifer from the original Hebrew, is hell. Hyll. Running sex in this reality and desire. That's what this is suggesting. To keep you inside this construct. And again, is there a way out, or there's no way out? Well, again, you're in a dream, and this is suggesting to be lukewarm to get out. Okay? To get out, to have this exorcism. So, because Luke is the dream, you exit the dream. I've done a decode on this. Very, very important decode to watch. Life is but a dream. Row, row, row your boat. So are you ready for the final frontier for this decode? The climax, the orgasm of this decode. Here it comes. So obviously this guy right here, which I showed in My Life is But a Dream, Mr. Light is the one that wrote Row, row, row your boat. He was credited as the composer. He was born on June 29th. What is 29? Stomatos. I will spit you out of my stomatos, my mouth. Sagittarius. He's the Ace of Wands. June 29th is the Ace of Clubs. Card 14. This is card 23. This is the card of Hollywood. Because this is the Hollywood wand. Hollywood is 43, ladies and gentlemen. 43 is the dreamer. Because this is the 43rd card in the deck. Tied to technetium, tied to the number 98, tied to September 8th, tied to the 251, which is talking about being lukewarm. You're in the dream. And it's all about magic down here. And you're being played. 43 being the 14th prime number. The 14 is tied to the word God, time, Satan, the devil, the diabolos. You're in Hollywood. Hollywood is a fractal down below. Our reality is Hollywood. You're in a dream. You're in a dream, folks. It's all a dream. Lucid dreaming. I don't want to be in the dream anymore. You don't like the nightmare because you got to be Luke. You got to be this. You have to leave behind the devil. It's a tall order because this reality is a lot of fun. This whole reality is based on, hey, what do you want to do today? Let's do this. Let's do that. It's desire. So to get down to the bare end of this here, here's his full name in numerology. I covered this in Life is But a Dream. 62. And it leads to the 50, and 62 is his numerology, which is very interesting because of this right here. You ready to have your mind blown? Here it is. Here's the biblical alchemy, or the biblical mathematics. I've done this many times now, of Revelation 3 verses 16. So Revelation 3 verses 16, it's 3 chapters. How many verses does each chapter have? Revelation chapter 1, 20. Revelation chapter 2, 29. And then we stop at the 16th verse because this is Revelation 3 verses 16. And we add them up and look at what number we get, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, I'm freaking jaw on the floor, man. 62. So, I mean, what are we to do with this? The guy writes row your boat. It's the dream. You're in the dream. You're in it. And it's all about magic. Abracadabra. The dreamer. Hollywood, 43. 54, Zeus. You're in the dream, man. This is Samarium. That's why the clue was, if you watched Leave the World Behind, it was Sam Esmail. Samarium. The dream's about to change in a big way. There's a climax coming. Big time. It's going to change. So there you go. Without any exception here. This is it, man. Right in your face. Now you can see. I don't care about religion, but it is a clue, and I will use it as a clue. Without being attached to it, it is just a clue to decode from. But this says you're in a dream. And then if you add in the 3 chapters, if you add in the 3 chapters, the 1 and the 2 and the 3, you tack on 6 more digits and you go from 62 to 68. And you remember how big that 68 was? Well, it's right there. Now this element zinc has multiple isotopes. So let me just go here. Do this on the fly. Just type in zinc isotopes. Okay, right here. And you'll see that here they are. 64, 60. I'm going by the stable ones now. 64, 66, 67, 68, and 70 are the stable ones. Okay, 64 possible codons in our DNA has got the most abundant percentage. Okay, these are just little clues to look at. But there's one of the stable isotopes, 68. So is 62. 62 is copper, excuse me. 62 is copper. I take that back. 62 is copper, which is the 29. This is copper. Let me just show you that real quick so you can see what I'm talking about. Let me do this on the fly. Copper. 62. Where is it? 62.929. 62. It'll even be 20. It'll even be nickel will be in there as well, which is Lucifer. You're in the dream. You're having a lucid dream. Lucifer's having a dream. So the 68's tied to zinc. The 30 plus 68 is 98. 98 is September 8th, which is tied to the 251. And there you go. The 30. Okay. All one and the same. There is no separation on this. Zero, zilcho, no separation. And they all belong to the club number 3. Which is Gemini, which is the prison. Okay, role-playing you. You're being role-played. This is, role is matrix. Life is 17. Role is 17. Matrix is 17. Story is 17. You're being role-played. Okay, you're being role-played. And if you don't want to be role-played anymore, well, what this is suggesting is to be lukewarm. Remember, hot and cold is Isaiah 45 verses 7, which is, I form peace and evil. I create peace and evil. That's yin yang. I form hot and cold. That's the demiurge, which is all of these, and then some. And I got that coming up at the very end here. So, going into the string of the golden ratio now to measure that 68, found from the total verses and chapters of Revelation 3 verses 16 about being lukewarm, not wanting to be part of the dream anymore, having an exorcism. Well, the 68 is located at digit 25 and 26. 25 is diabolos. 26 is going to give you source. This is source. Source is 26. What do you think this is? Remember, gematria, the killing name, is 68. Part of the dream. When you add it up, you get 141. 141 is the 59. 59 is the rosary beads. 59 is tied to Praesiodimium, and there's the duality again. The prison. Gemini being the third zodiac sign. The third zodiac sign. These are all threes. Gemini. The doppelganger. This is you and the doppelganger. Gemini, the twins. You and the spirit inside of you. Source inside of you. And if you don't want to play anymore, this is suggesting you got to be lukewarm. Luke. Taurus. Getting out of the dream. Getting out of the prison. There it is. Source. Getting out of source. Source, 26 digits. Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh is 26. Getting out of the prison. Okay? Getting out of the prison. Prison. Some of you don't want to be here anymore. So, to kind of get this thing finalized, we have this zinc 68, isotope 68. So this is also going to be tied to erbium. Erbium's tied to the tetragrammaton, the Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh, which is Lucifer, which is Jesus, which is Allah. All of them are all one and the same. Yaldabaoth, they're all the same. There is no separation. There cannot be a separation because everything in this construct is part of this construct, and it's a Ponzi scheme. So you're being role-played, and zinc is 16, just like dream is 16. And you want to be lukewarm to remove yourself from this dream. You want to wake up. You want to wake up. Okay? So let's get into the last topic now, called sing. Sing me a song. Here we go. Sing. What is sing? Tied to zinc. It's tied to zinc. See, this was the big clue. And I just found this. I've been looking at this element for years. And I just never bothered to look at the Persian word. I've always just looked at zinc. Zinc being 16. Tied to the dream, tied to Luke. You got to be lukewarm. Now the clues are very obvious, and this is Taurus. Taurus is 22, just like the word Taurus. Taurus field is 22. 22 is titanium, the Titans. Okay? But now we're going to look at the Persian word. You see the boiling point, 907, September 7th. Boiling meaning ascension. Okay? Ascension, right there. But now we're going to look at the Persian word sing. Here it is. Here's the breakdown. And it's so fascinating what they mean. Think if you start looking at this, you start looking at the vine, the father, the nest, the dog, and the nest. If you just pause it and start to really meditate on these words and how they're part of the dream and the demiurge and everything in this construct, it starts to get super interesting. So it means to sing. Here is the Persian word for it. Okay, right there. And so I decided to do the numerology of it. Persian, Arabic, okay? And there it was. And of course, is zinc part of the 63? Absolutely. There's the isotope 63.92. So you can see that the word from its origination from this matches, this is the average isotope, it matches the 63.92. And what's the 63? Bam! It's the non-player character. Which I have a decode coming out. I'm probably going to do this live. There it is. And 63 is a 9. And what is 9? Sagittarius. What is 9? Diabolos. If you say 6-3, it's 30. Just like role play. See how all this is connected? All this is connected, folks. Just got to know how to look. This was a big one. This was really big. Looking up this word in Arabic, where it came from. Having the isotope 63, being the 30th element, and non-player character. So here's the 3 club, as I like to call it. My last slide, the 3 club. And they're all part of it. It's all a Ponzi scheme. Islam, religion, Allah, 30. Jehovah, the New Age name, 30. Yod-Heh-Vah-Heh. Yaldabaoth, the Gnostic demiurge, from its original language, 30. Demiurge, the idea of the Gnostic demiurge, 30. And yes, even Lucifer, part of the 3 club. They all reduce down to the number 3. These are all one in the same. All of them. And they're all part of the dream. You're in a dream. You're in a trance. You're being hypnotized through polarization. You're in Babylon. You're a baby in the lawn. Babylon. 21 is the world card. You entered Babylon. And when you enter Babylon, you're under the guise of all these energies, all these ideas. And these ideas cannot be separate from outside this construct, because everything in this construct is created for this construct. So if you don't want to be part of this construct anymore, I thought this was an amazing graphic. If you don't want to be part of this construct anymore, what goes into having a spiritual exorcism? Whatever you want to call it. Folks, I don't think it's that complicated, man. Like, I'm not somebody who gets involved in doing rituals and customs and all these like stones and burning shit. And like, why do I need to do that? I'm simple in my life, man. For me, it's simplicity. Getting rid of all your possessions, being a minimalist is simple to me. I'm not saying you have to do that, but it's simple. Simple life, no attachments. And it maybe, just maybe, there's a way to get out of this dream by having an exorcism. And you don't need a priest. You don't need to do any funky rituals or do any of that. You don't need to do any of that stuff. Simple. You just do one thing, and that's nihilism. Remove yourself from all the programming. You don't need it anymore. It's not necessary. Especially in the age of Aquarius, it's I know thyself. And I think we're all getting DNA activation upgrades by way of perhaps the old system collapsing, and because of it, the hypnotic trance is no longer being transmitted. And so these older constructs, everything in the construct of the old was going to be removed, where you won't need it anymore. We'll be kind of laughing at that stuff as we move into this new construct. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we'd love to hear what you saw. Keep your comments coming. Just keep them cordial. It's all about love in here. You don't have to agree with everything I say. Make the truth your own, man. So anyway, that's all I got for today. My name is Logan for Decode Your Reality. Until next time, we will see you later.